Okay, what we're saying is no increase in income tax for those, well, only the top 5% will be paying any more, and that'll be a modest amount. We'll determine that next week. But so all those earning less than 80,000, no increase on VAT, and no increase in terms of national insurance contributions. That includes earners as well as self-employed earners as well. Okay, so we're not extending VAT. The only extension we announced a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, was VAT on private school fees, and that will pay for free school meals for all children.
You're effectively creating a new wealthy bracket, aren't you, which won't go down well with some of your MPs and some of your supporters.
You'll see next week we're asking for a modest increase on the top roughly 5% earners to enable us then to fund the NHS, social care and public services generally. It will be a modest increase, but we can't have a situation where our NHS is crumbling around us, social care is preventing people even leaving hospital walls to be able to go home, and nurses, as we saw last week from the RCN, had an 11% cut in their wages, and some of them even having to go to food banks. But it'll be a modest increase where we all make a little bit of a contribution for those who are earning more. But the key issue is middle and lower earners will be protected from increases in taxation, income, VAT and national insurance contributions.
And how much extra do you think it will bring you in?
Well, what we're going to do this week is we're determining the final phase of our manifesto preparation. Then when that manifesto is published, we'll announce the rates, and for every policy we identify, it will be fully costed, the funding source identified, this will be part of that.
But will there be a 50 or 60% tax rate for those?
What we're going to do this week is look at the individual rates, make sure the policy demands that we're putting in our manifesto, and that is largely around investment in public services, but it will all be fully costed, the funding source identified, and at that stage the rates. But let me assure you, it will be a modest increase. But what we've got to do now is start investing in our economy again so we can grow it again and make sure we're competing in the global market.
Are you going to retain the triple lock?
We've spoken to a former tax advisor to Ed Miliband, Labour supporter, and he said that he's called your policy the politics of division. And he said that you won't raise much money anyway.
Okay. What we're trying to do is make sure we have a fair taxation system, and there's two steps in that in particular. Making sure we tackle tax evasion and tax avoidance, and that's what we'll do. And then secondly, a fair tax system. So we're asking the higher earners, you know, we're talking about 95% of people in this country will not be, and 95% of the earners in this country will not be having any increase whatsoever. We're asking those higher earners to pay a bit more, a little bit more. But also there'll be other policies in our manifesto which actually will benefit them significantly. So this is about fairness within our society. We cannot have a situation where our public services are crumbling, where class sizes are increasing, the NHS waiting queues are going up and people are not getting the operations that they need, and social care is collapsing.
It's fair, but is it pragmatic if it doesn't raise enough
money? Well look,
money?
I think the British people are fair, and I think they want a politician who's honest with them. And for the last 7 years, what we've seen is a government which has been introducing stealth taxes, cutting public services, and at the same time, I think, behaving irresponsibly. I want to create a richer country where everyone shares in that prosperity, and where that richness is about the quality of life as well. So that means ensuring a fair taxation system where we all bear a bit of responsibility for the future of our country.